In this video, we will be discussing iPads. Believe it or not, this can be one of the hardest things to learn in the beginning. Sometimes we'll find our clients' eyes watering uncontrollably, or the pads just aren't sticking the way that we want them to. This video is all about pad application and how to solve problems that may arise while you're applying them. So why do we use iPads while we're working? The reason for this is because we must section off those bottom lashes while we're working in order to prevent the eyes from sticking together at the end of a service. Number 2, the pads offer a little bit of protection for under the eyes while we're working. This gives us the opportunity to put a tiny amount of pressure on the pads. Remember though, if we put a lot of pressure, we can actually puncture through the pads, which can cause harm to your client. In example number 1, you can see the appropriate amount of pressure that you can put on the pad. Whereas in example number 2, you can see that there's a little too much pressure being put on the pad. If we put too much pressure on our pad while we're working, not only can we harm our clients, but also the pads will slip around, which can expose the bottom lashes. iPads come in all shapes and sizes. Some are thick, some are thin, some are sticky, some are not. The main 2 types of iPads that you'll see will be lint-free iPads and collagen iPads. Lint-free are normally lower priced than collagen. And the reason for this is because collagen pads offer an under-eye treatment during a service, which a lot of clients love because it feels really cool and is nice under their eyes. Some iPads are also shaped very rounded, while others are more elongated. It's nice to have both on hand because not every client that you see will have the same shaped eyes. I find in my practice, I use both styles equally. Some clients have really round shaped eyes while others are much more elongated. And not only that, but if I have a client with really deep set eyes, I personally find that a thin pad is necessary because even a thin pad can really hug the eye and hide those lashes that you're trying to isolate. It's important we try different styles of iPads to find what best suits you and your client. Now let's talk about the real thing, the application of the iPads. I would like to start this by saying that every technician has a preference. So maybe you're a technician who would prefer tape over iPads, and this is okay. As long as the bottom lashes are covered and there's no irritation to the client's eyes, it's perfect. Here are a few pointers I find helpful during an application. Number 1, always check your iPads. You can say to your client when you first start your service, just to let you know if they notice any discomfort at all when it comes to the iPads. This is about a 3-second fix and it can prevent irritation to the eye. If the pads are sitting too close to your client's eyes, their eyes can start to water, and at worst case, it can actually scrape your client's sclera, which is the outer white layer of the eye. If this does happen to your client and you scrape her sclera, this damage could occur for about a week and can be really uncomfortable for your client. So it is of utmost importance that we always check to make sure the pads are not too close to the eye. A way to tell if the pads are sitting too close to the eye are if you see a gelatin layer around the pad, or if the pad is sitting above the client's waterline, you know it's time to move that pad back to where the lash line is. Another thing to check for is that the pads aren't pushing against the outer corner of their eye. This can cause irritation to the very thin and sensitive skin in that area. Now let's talk about pad placement. You can apply the pads with the client's eyes either open or closed. Most of the time at the beginning of a service, I apply the pads with the client's eyes open. How you'll do this is get your client to look up at you and then place the pads on the lash line, avoiding the water line. If I have a client whose eyes are really sensitive to light or just being touched in general, I will almost always apply the pads with their eyes closed. I find this helps them if they're sensitive. Sometimes during a service, we will also have to move the pads. In this case, we always have to do it with the client's eyes closed. Because of all the bright lights we have around us, it can be really irritating to the client's eyes. The last thing we will discuss today are the inner and outer corners. These can be the most difficult, even for the most advanced lash tech. But trust me, there's ways you can make them easier. So here, let me show you. Working on the inner corners can be especially hard because you're working so close to the nose, which really gets in the way. So when you're working in these areas, if you tilt your pad and it still is really hard to see those lashes, a really good solution is to take a very small piece of tape and just lay it on that corner. Sometimes you'll have clients with really deep set eyes. The tape trick is especially important for those because the pads really sit in there and cover those inner corner lashes. So trying the tape trick seems to work wonders. Thank you so much for watching our iPad video. And as always, if you have any questions about this video, please don't hesitate to reach out. There's a whole team of people who are eager to answer your questions.